Good morning, everybody. Just barely able to say good morning because it's a 11:45. I'm getting a very late start for my walk this morning, but I have a fantastic excuse for being late. You're not going to believe it. And stick around and find out why I am so late getting off to my morning walk. It is a great day. It's warm. It's in the low 70s. There's clouds in the sky, but it is sunny. It's just feeling good. So, why am I so late getting off to this morning walk? I had a Zoom class with Jeff Foxworthy about the business of comedy, finding your voice, and it was just a lot of fun. He's just a pleasure to, well, I didn't talk to him, our host Joel Byers of Hot Breath Comedy, and this is a huge shout out to Joel. Thank you so much for setting this up. Thank you, Joel. There's a lot of benefit to hearing from an old pro like that. Here we are on the walk, feeling warm for what's this, the second to the last day of September. Here's where you get a workout. Gardening and yard work will work out every single muscle of your body. Find what challenges you. Set that as your mark. You can go for that challenge a second time, but try to beat it by 1 second. Up your game a little bit. Let's go down this street. Hey, let's change hands. We can do a different angle. Oh, I have explosion. Ooh. Hang on, we're gonna hydrate. Thank you, SodaStream. You're not my sponsor yet, but we're gonna talk about you. Refrigerate your water, tap it under that SodaStream for about 2 seconds. You've got carbonated water. Then add in some pure fruit juice, cherry juice, cranberry juice. Get a good juice though that isn't adding sugars. I get mine from Simple Truth. They have a lot of good products. They try to stay clean. I don't mean clean like no dirty words. I mean clean of additives and sugars and all those nasty things you don't want in your body. You gotta remember, your body's a test tube. All that stuff's accumulative. You wouldn't believe what sugar does to the brain. It does so much damage that I'm gonna have to do a video just for that. If there's something you'd like a video about, put it down in the comments for me. I'll get to it. It's what I like to do. I like to give you what you want as far as valuable information, motivation, inspiration. I'll try to make it entertaining. Well, I just feel so good today. This is just awesome. This is gonna be a little bit shorter walk. I think I'm only gonna do about 3 miles, which will be about 45 to 50 minutes. Well, maybe a little longer, because I forgot I'm doing the casual stroll walk today.
1 minute 17 seconds behind target.
Yep, a little bit behind target, but that's not the purpose of this walk. Sure, you want to beat your goals, but sometimes a walk is just to be enjoyed. You don't have to push yourself to the limit. Get out there, get the sunshine, get that vitamin D that is so valuable to our immune system. It's all about enjoying life. Let's go. Let's go to the horseshoe street that has those nice properties. There's a couple of kitty cats that come out and visit me. I love having pets. I've been a pet owner most of my life. Even when I was a kid living in Emery Woods apartments where you're not allowed to have dogs, they were so kind to turn a blind eye and let a lot of us have dogs, but then people started complaining after a couple of years and I had to trade in the dog for a cat. Got a black Siamese. It was half Siamese and half neighborhood cat. When I came back from the service, My sister had gotten an Irish setter puppy, and we were sharing the apartment for a very short time, and the dog adopted me. You know how that is with pets. You don't own them, you're their human. That's just the way it is. But when I moved to Florida, a real estate agent I knew had gotten stuck with the male Irish setter and asked me if I wanted it. And I was like, yeah, I've got a female, you give me a male, I'm gonna go into the Irish setter breeding business. Well, first of all, it's not a business. It's a love of the breed and passion. If you're trying to make money off of it, yeah, you're doing the wrong thing. You gotta do it because you love the animal, the dog, the breed. That's what it's all about. I only did 2 litters. One was purebred, and one was an accident that I allowed to happen. A chocolate lab got into the pen. And I decided just let nature take its course. I knew it was Heather's last year to be breedable. And those were some of the best puppies I ever had. I ended up keeping 2. The big brute of the litter that looked like a golden retriever, and the runt that was the spitting image of the dad. We called it Derry after the neighboring town. So I lived in Londonderry, New Hampshire. Derry's a famous town because we have an astronaut that came from there, Alan Shepard, and we have a poet that came from there, Stephen Foster. He's from Derry, New Hampshire. That was such a cool state to live in. I feel like one of the biggest mistakes I made in my life was leaving New Hampshire. Boston was my city. Boston. Yeah, I still say it like that. And I still love my Red Sox. And oh my gosh, the Bruins. Yes, that's hockey. One of the originals. That's such a great city, so much history. You can go see Betsy Ross's house, Paul Revere's house. Was it the Freedom Trail or the Independence Trail? I'm gonna have to check. Or if you know, let me know by putting it in the comments. And while you're taking time out to do that, do me a huge favor, hit that like button, give me the thumbs up. The YouTube algorithm likes it, and it helps me grow my channel. Show the love. And if you wanna get notified of when I'm putting out a new video, ring that notification bell. And we will keep bringing you as much valuable, helpful information as we can. Yeah, this street starts off with that little short hill that's wicked steep. Halloween's coming up. What's your favorite holiday of the year? I think we already know mine. Halloween. See what I mean about these properties? That is just a beautiful property. It's not a huge mansion house. It's just got style. And I love how they did the yard instead of just having a steep slope that's just about impossible to mow. They made a beautiful stone wall. I really get into landscape architecture. Someday I'll learn to talk, don't worry. I'm only 64. I'm gonna live to 120, so I have 56 years left to learn how to talk. I think I just figured out why my morning pace is so much faster than my afternoon pace. It's hot out here. Yeah. Slow yourself down if you have to. You gotta pace yourself according to the weather. It's about 20 degrees warmer than my normal walking time. It's around mid-70s now. It's such a pleasure to get up in the morning. I get up around 4, 5 at the latest. But that calls for an early bedtime because you really need to get your 8 to 9 hours sleep. You start cutting hours off your sleep time, you're doing damage to your brain and your lifespan. Your brain needs to detox. And what happens when you sleep is your brain rids itself and gets clean, flushes out all that pollution. If you don't do that, it tends to build up and it can lead to some serious brain problems, Alzheimer's and dementia. I'm forgetful enough as it is. I don't need to help the toxins. Look at the profile. Oh, this is so much fun. I really appreciate you guys watching. Doing this channel is one of the most fun things I've ever done in my career. I spent something like 27 years as a video editor, working in post-production. Probably 5 or 6 years in production as a camera person, and also as the technical director in the studio. You have the director, you know what that is. That's kind of like the boss, the auteur of a show. The technical director is the one that sits at the switcher, following the first orders of the director. When he says, camera 1, zoom in, switch to camera 1, that's me that does the switch. Just pushes a button. That's all it is, a bunch of button pushing and lever pulling. But it's tricky. It's complicated. I don't get how those people on news shows can do it, because they're doing it real time on the fly. You gotta know your equipment. Kind of like a pilot in a plane. You gotta know your equipment, or else your passengers aren't gonna have much faith in you. What would you think if a pilot came over the intercom and said, 3/4 of our crew believe we're gonna make it to our destination? I wonder what music I'm going to put for this video. It'll be something upbeat, don't you worry about that. Last time was a lot of ragtime piano, a little bit of bluegrass. Really fond of that kind of music. It's happy music. Pick up a banjo and play a sad song. Can't be done. I don't care if you put sad words to it. That picking, it's just happy. Boy, it is warm. And it might be creeping up to the 80s. Be careful with the sun. You don't want any melanomas. It was good to be outside and play. There's too much gaming going on. You're not going to get any sunshine or exercise gaming. You might have very in-shape thumbs. That's going to be it. At the root, I'm a photographer. That is my #1 skill trait that got me to where I got professionally, really. Started off doing photography because I was an artist painting oils on canvas, which is a very slow process. And I'd see all these landscapes and sunsets that I wanted to paint, but I could only get to one every month or so. So I started taking pictures. All of a sudden I had 1,000 paintings that I needed to paint for my 1,000 pictures.
4.92 miles in 30 minutes. Calories burned 272.
Here's the data report.
15 minutes and 188 seconds per mile. Clock speed 3.87 miles per hour. Average pace 3.8. That's not too bad. 4 miles per hour.
I'm really pushing it when I break 4. I've only hit 420 about 2 or 3 times. I used to keep coming in at 4.19 miles per hour. I'm like, almost there. Let's just round up. You know, if you're ever feeling lazy about your walk, you need to push yourself and get out there and do it. It never fails. Once I arrive back home, I am so glad I got there and do it. And that's the importance of routines and time schedules. Stay on that schedule. Sometimes you might get thrown off, like today. I just thought it was more valuable to listen to a question and answer session with Jeff Foxworthy. You know, things come up. Appointments, think I have appointments 2 more days this week that kind of disrupts my schedule, but that's okay. We just rearrange. That's time management. You know, look ahead. See what you need to do to make your schedule work for you. Oh yeah, I remember what we were talking about. We were talking about being in the studio in my career. So being a TD for a television show, a cable network show, very much like Wayne's World, it was called Bannister's Banner. And it had a lot of the Washington, D.C. improv troupe on there. And it was really funny. It was 93. Bill Clinton had just taken office the year before, or that year actually. The election was 92. But that's how I moved from being an artist through photography into television. While I was in photography, I built a dark room under the stairs in my New Hampshire house. And let me tell you, that was a huge learning curve. Being in a dark room, my photography information, knowledge just went tenfold. It's another thing about editing. If you're a videographer and you start editing, your videography is going to improve multiple times. I'm going to do a little bit of comedy tonight. I'm going to go to an open mic, try out some new material. It's new material I'm adding to old material. Hit thumbs up. I know you've already subscribed, so I'm not going to mention that part. But you do need to ring that bell. Let me talk to you about my sites that I have going on. So, my main website is ZoeyLucinda.com. You'll find my blog there. And it just started, so I think there's about five articles there now. And I've touched on some of the topics about pets that we've talked about on this walk. Getting up at 4 a.m., why I do that, how it benefits me. So that's the blog, it's written form. This is the vlog, and I'm gonna do this at least once a week for you guys. We'll just talk about whatever's on my mind, whatever the issues are with getting healthy, doing exercise, recipes. Speaking of recipes, I've got one in the can that needs to be edited called Root Soup. And I want you to check out that video too. It's one of the healthiest soups you can get. It's called Root Soup because the main base of the ingredients are all the different kind of roots, like rutabaga and potatoes and sweet potato and carrots and turnips, beets. And I add the top of the ground vegetables too, broccoli and squash. Onions in there with bell peppers. Onion's actually a bulb under the ground. I don't know if it qualifies as a root, but it is the root system. I like to put some leafy spinach or cabbage in there. Chop that up good. It also gets stringy. You don't want that. And the broth is a tomato base. You need to stay away from your cream bases and your roux with butter and flour. That's not going to be good for you. We're trying to get turbocharged nutrition out of this recipe. You can add gonna add beans. Don't add canned beans. So many of them have syrups. If you do, please read the label carefully. Especially make sure that there's no high fructose corn syrup. You don't want that stuff either. That's what's really damaging. I need to get to that sugar video. It's going to be one of the most important videos I do. I don't say you have to cut out sugar 100%. You're not going to do that. When we get to my nut mix, you're going to see that some of the ingredients has sugar in it. Like the dried craisins, the cranberries, and the pitted cherries dried. They have sugar, but so little. And when you're putting it in a batch that big, it's really negligible what you're getting as far as sugar. You just don't want to buy pecans that are like sugar and salt coated from the snack aisle. Get your nuts from the produce aisle. That's where the healthy ones are. Your cashews are already going to be roasted. That's to get rid of a toxin that they have that we're allergic to, all of us. So they're nice enough to shell them for you. That's what's frustrating about pistachios. You work so hard for a little tiny nugget. So I pay the extra money and get them shelled. It's worth it to me. Well, we're on the homeward stretch now, rounding the last corner. It's been so fantastic having you guys along. And I tell you, there's a little bit of extra reward when you are kind of pushing yourself to get out there and then you finish the job. You just get a little bit of an extra feel good to that. Thank you for walking with me. I hope you enjoyed it as much as I did. Please subscribe to the channel and I'll bring you more videos about improving health and getting the most out of life. Check out these videos and I will see you next time. Peace.